Today is Monday, December the 2nd. I'm sorry I'm late getting this up, so I'm going to make it really quick. Decliners led advancers by 3-1. The market dropped constantly throughout the day. Look at the volume here. Fairly high in the Dow, very high in the NASDAQ, and we saw that Apple played a big part of that, and pretty high in the S&P 500. So that has taken, let me just update this to December the 2nd here, and that has taken our breadth indicator down to pretty close to its previous low. Now it didn't hit the oversold line the last time. There's a pretty good chance that it's going to this time around, I would say. Now the SPX was down 27 points, less than 1%. But if you remember the video from yesterday, and these two trend lines, the bottom trend line, let's go to the monthly. The bottom trend line goes from 2016 to today, and the top trend line goes from 1994. And when we go back out to the dailies, you'll see where we are. We came into this pattern of narrowing, and we fell through, came up and tested this trend line down to the 200, tested the trend line down to the 200, almost tested the trend line. There were sellers waiting just below the trend line, came down to the 200, and this time we've made new highs, but we've capped out on this trend line. This is the short one from 2016. So we are now playing in the other side of this wedge, and there's a good chance that we go back down to this level here and test this trend line. So that's where I would say, unless there's some good news pretty quick, where we're going. Now Apple pulled below the 8 EMA, and I tweeted that I got rid of my short put, so I have no Apple anymore. Caterpillar down 1.5%, not healthy. Home Depot, got rid of my second half of my 10 call spreads very close to the open. I sold when it was around 219.90, and it closed the day at 217.24. Now look where support was. This doesn't look like it's anywhere, right? But it is somewhere. That low of the day was the Chiku span touching the cloud span B. That's an important level of support, particularly when a few days ago we had the cloud acting as resistance. Now we find it acting as support. So there is an opportunity for Home Depot to move up tomorrow, and that's what I'm going to suggest could happen if there's anything good in terms of news on the market. WDC down 3.5%. That's a pretty heavy reversal. That's a bigger range than the 2, 3, 4 previous days. So this is what they call an NR4, near range 4, where you've got a candle that's overlapping the previous 4 days. Amazon down 1.3%. Saved here by the bottom of the cloud. The Chiku span is actually right here. So this is where we ended the day today. The Chiku span is where? Right at the top of this candle. After having found support on the price found support on the 50 simple moving average, and the Chiku span bounced off the top of that candle. So strictly speaking, we should be looking for this kind of movement tomorrow. But again, it's all going to depend on the S&P, which doesn't look particularly strong right now. Let's just take a quick look at some volumes. Other than that, I'm done. But let's look at the volume here for Apple. Below the 20-day moving average, but still fairly high. Caterpillar, about the same relative volume. Home Depot, very low volume, very weak volume. This is why we could bounce tomorrow. And Amazon, the same position in volume as the other stocks. So there you have it. I think it's been a funny market, so it could move up tomorrow on no good news just because today was some kind of a cleansing day, but it was only 1% down in the Dow Jones, less than that in the S&P and the NASDAQ. I can't remember. I would be thinking we see a bit of a better day tomorrow. Let's just take a quick look at the futures. And the futures are starting indeed to move up, but we're still below Friday's regular trading hours low, and we're below yesterday's Globex. So we have a bit of work to do before we can say that tomorrow will be a better day, but it should be.